When Ethan first saw the job posting for night shift at Megamart, he thought he'd lucked out. $18 an hour, overnight differential way better than flipping burgers at McDonald's. 19 years old, college on pause, and bills don't pay themselves. Nights are easier, the manager Rick said during the interview, rubbing his tired eyes. Couple drunk customers, maybe a delivery truck. Mostly you're just stocking shelves and making sure everything is where it should be. Ethan nodded, trying to look confident. The first 2 weeks went exactly like that. He'd show up at 11 p.m., throw on the bright red apron with his name tag, and sink into the monotonous work. Unpack boxes, arrange cans, check expiration dates. The store became a different world at night, fluorescent lights, humming freezers, echo of his own footsteps. Almost meditative. He worked with earbuds in, listening to true crime podcasts. The irony wasn't lost on him later. The weirdness started week 3. Ethan walked into the stockroom for a new batch of chips, big boxes of Doritos for an end cap display, and froze. The stockroom door was cracked open. The heavy metal door he'd definitely closed 20 minutes ago. He remembered the distinctive clang of the lock. "Hi, anyone here?" he called into the darkness of the stockroom. Silence. Just the hum of ventilation. Ethan stepped inside, hit the light switch. Rows of metal shelving, pallets of merchandise, smell of cardboard and plastic. Everything in place. He walked between the aisles. Nobody. Probably just the latch didn't catch. Old building, like Rick said. But 2 days later, he found a box of energy drinks where it shouldn't be. He definitely remembered leaving it by the cooler in the beverage section. Now it sat by the emergency exit, neatly tucked behind the fire extinguisher. Maybe Carla moved it. He thought aloud. Carla worked the night shift register, a petite woman in her 50s with an endless supply of granted stories. When he asked her, she shook her head. "Honey, I'm stuck at the register all night. My feet hurt too much to walk around." Maybe Marcus called in sick. "You're alone on the floor." Alone. The word hung in the air like a threat. Next shift, Ethan decided to pay closer attention. He noticed a bottle of whiskey missing from the locked liquor shelf, the one behind glass. Only the manager and Carla had keys. He checked, lock intact, glass unbroken. Just an empty space where yesterday sat a 300 bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label. "That's the 3rd bottle this month," Carla sighed when he showed her the empty shelf. "Management thinks one of us is stealing. They're gonna start investigation soon." "But how? Everything's locked." "I don't know, honey. I'm trying to make it to retirement, don't need this trouble." Fear in her voice. Not fear of a thief, fear of accusation. Ethan started feeling the same. That night changed everything. Around 3 a.m., the deadest time, when even night owls sleep, Ethan was stocking frozen pizzas. Suddenly the intercom crackled to life with static. Usually it stayed silent all night. But now from the speaker came breathing. Quiet, strained breathing, like someone standing too close to the microphone. Then a click. Silence. Ethan pulled out his earbuds. Listened. The store filled with its usual sounds, humming, clicking, rustling of ventilation. But now something else lurked in them. Presence. He slowly walked down the main aisle, peering down the end caps. Fluorescent light created harsh shadows. Any of dozens of aisles could hide anyone. Carla, he called, approaching the register. She dozed in her chair, head tilted to one side, soft snoring. Innocent picture. Ethan returned to the floor. His heart beat faster than normal. Something was wrong. He couldn't explain it, but felt it in his skin, instinct inherited from ancestors who survived in the wild. You're not alone. Predator nearby. He approached the electronics section, locked displays with tablets, headphones, portable speakers. The glass was broken. Not shattered, but carefully a fist-sized hole, edges taped to prevent jingling. Professional work. 3 iPads missing inside. Everything became very real very fast. Ethan pulled out his phone. Called the manager. Rick didn't answer. 3am, sleeping like a rock. Called company security voicemail. Emergency line said, if life is in danger, call 911. For all other matters, leave a message. Was his life in danger? Suddenly the lights in the grocery section went out. Just went out, leaving half the store in semi-darkness. Emergency lighting gave dim green glow, turning familiar space into a labyrinth of shadows. Ethan instinctively backed toward the register. Woke Carla. What happened? She jumped up, frightened. Lights went out, and someone broke into the electronics display. Carla paled even in the dim light. We need to call the police. Ethan looked at his phone. Signal was there, but his hand shook. Maybe it's just a technical glitch. With a broken display. Honey, call. No. He dialed 911. Started explaining the situation. The dispatcher was calm, professional. Stay visible, don't try to find the intruder. Car will be there in 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Doesn't sound long. But when you're standing in a half-dark store, knowing that somewhere between the shelves hides someone who shouldn't be there, it's an eternity. Carla, let's go to the office, Ethan whispered. We can lock ourselves in. They quickly headed to the back. The manager's office was a small room with security monitors, desk piled with invoices, and a chair that had seen better days. Door could be locked from inside. But when Ethan tried to open it, locked. That's impossible, Carla whispered. I have the key. She reached into her apron pocket. Pelled even more. The key's gone. What do you mean gone? It was here this morning. I checked it. They stood before the locked door, their last refuge, and Ethan understood someone planned this. Darkness, locked door, stolen key. This wasn't some random junkie grabber. This was someone who knew the store. Knew procedures. Knew where cameras were, where blind spots were, where keys were kept. Stockroom, Ethan breathed. There's an emergency exit there. Let's go. They moved through the store. Carla walked slowly, her feet really did hurt. Ethan helped her, one hand supporting her elbow, other holding his phone with flashlight on. The stockroom door was open. Wide open. "Did you leave it like this?" Carla whispered. "No." They entered. High shelves, narrow passages between pallets, shadows moving in the phone's flashlight. Ethan headed for the emergency exit in the far corner, green exit sign glowing in darkness, promising salvation. Footsteps. Not their footsteps. Other footsteps behind them, between the shelves. Heavy. Mal. Approaching. "Run," Ethan breathed. "I can't run." "Then walk fast." They moved toward the exit, Carla limping, leaning on Ethan's arm. The footsteps behind them grew closer, more confident. Someone was no longer hiding. Ethan turned and pointed his flashlight back. A figure appeared in the light. A man, mid-30s, black hoodie, jeans, work boots. Unshaven face, disheveled hair shiny with sweat. And in his hand a knife. Not a kitchen knife from the store shelf. A hunting knife with a long serrated blade. "Phone on the floor," the man said. Voice hoarse, tired, but steel underneath. "Right now." Ethan froze. All the safety instructions, all the active shooter videos they showed in school, everything flew out of his head. Only fear remained, pure and animal. "Look, man," he started, trying to keep his voice from shaking. "Take whatever you want. We just work here." "Phone." "On." "Floor." Ethan slowly bent down, placed his iPhone on the concrete. Screen cracked from impact. "Good." The man stepped closer. "Now listen carefully. Police are coming. I know you called. I heard on the radio." "Of course." "The intercom." He was listening to them. "When they come," the man continued, "you'll say everything's fine. False alarm. Security glitch. Understand? And if we don't?" Carla suddenly asked. Her voice was surprisingly firm. Ethan looked at her, small woman in a red apron, with gray hair and tired eyes. She stared at the man with the knife without fear. Only with some sad determination. "Then someone gets hurt," the man said. "And it won't be me." Sirens sounded outside. Distant but approaching. Red-blue flashes danced in the high stockroom window. The man jerked it. The knife wavered in his hand. "Back!" he shouted, pointing the knife toward the far corner. "Both of you. There, behind the shelves." They started backing up. Ethan felt Carla trembling beside him, though her face remained calm. The sirens got louder. Stopped. Car doors slammed. Voices outside. The man's eyes darted between them and the door. Sweat rolled down his face. The hand with the knife trembled. "Listen," Ethan said quietly. "It's not too late. Just leave. We'll say we didn't see anyone. Don't lie to me." The man stepped forward, knife raised. In that moment, Ethan did something incredibly stupid or incredibly brave. He pushed Carla back between the shelves and stepped forward himself, straight toward the man with the knife. "Police!" roared from outside. "Open the door." The man spun toward the sound. Ethan yanked at a pallet of laundry detergent. Heavy boxes crashed down, an avalanche of cardboard and plastic. The man tried to dodge, slipped, fell. Ethan ran, grabbed Carla's hand. They rushed toward the emergency exit. Ethan hit the door with his shoulder. It swung outward into cold night air, and they tumbled onto the loading dock. "Here!" Ethan yelled. "We're here!" 3 officers spun around, hands moving to holsters. Then they saw red aprons, name tags, frightened faces. "There's a man with a knife inside it," Carla gasped. "In the stockroom." Everything happened fast after that. Officers rushed inside. Shouts of "on the ground," "hands behind your head," metallic click of handcuffs. 5 minutes later they brought the man out without knife, hands behind his back, still sweating and twitching. The senior officer, a detective with a tired face and graying temples, approached them. "You both okay? Need an ambulance?" We're fine," Ethan said, though his hands shook so hard he stuffed them in his pockets. "Can you tell me what happened?" Ethan told him. Everything, the weirdness of recent weeks, broken display, lights going out, confrontation in stockroom. The detective wrote, nodded, asked clarifying questions. "That's Daryl Koch," he finally said. "Wanted for armed robbery in 3 states. We've been looking for him for 2 weeks. Apparently, he was hiding here at night, getting out through ventilation, stealing food and merchandise. Smart son of a bitch picked his spot. Could he really have killed us?" Carla asked quietly. The detective looked at her for a long moment. "Madame, he's got 2 counts of assault with violence behind him." "So he could have." The words hung in the air. Ethan felt his legs weaken. Adrenaline evaporating, leaving emptiness and realization he could have died today. At his job. In a supermarket. Stocking goddamn chips. While they were giving statements, Rick arrived, the manager in sweatpants and t-shirt, clearly dragged from bed by a corporate security call. He hugged them both, which was strange and touching simultaneously. "God, guys. I feel so guilty. I should have." Cameras, alarms, Rick. Carla put her hand on his shoulder. "You're not to blame." Nobody's to blame. But Ethan wasn't sure about that. Dawn found them at the police station, filling out final paperwork. The sun rose over the city, painting the sky pink and gold. Beautiful, indifferent sky that didn't care what happened during the night at Megamart. "Will you go back?" Carla asked as they sat in the patrol car taking them home. Their shifts had ended 6 hours ago. "I don't know," Ethan answered honestly. "Will you?" "I don't have a choice, honey. I need the pension for 2 more years." She smiled, but the smile was tired, sad. Ethan didn't return to night shifts. He switched to days, though they paid less. And a month later, he quit entirely, went back to college, took out a student loan. Better dead than nights at Megamart. But even now, 3 years later, when he enters a supermarket late at night just to buy milk or beer, he feels the same thing. His gaze slides along aisles, checking shadows. Listens to sounds between the humming of refrigerators. and thinks about how thin the line is between safe place and place where you're vulnerable. Because sometimes danger doesn't burst through the door screaming. Sometimes it's already inside, hiding in familiar corners, waiting for darkness. And you only learn about it when it's too late to turn around and leave. The night shift taught Ethan one thing: there's no place that's safe simply because it's familiar. Evil doesn't live in dark alleys and abandoned buildings. It seeks shelter where nobody expects it. In supermarkets, in offices, in your own home. And when it finds it, it doesn't ask permission to enter.